It is the DLLS Mavs podcast. Bit of a role reversal today. I'm Bobby Corella sitting in the host chair. I don't want to point because I think I'm mirrored. Kevin Gray is next to me in the analyst seat. Now, it's still pretty icy outside, still pretty cold, so we're hunkering down at home. I spent the weekend conquering the world in Civilization 5, but Kevin Gray, you took an adventure. You went on a trek to American Airlines Center on Saturday to see Luka and the LA Lakers. And so I want you to take us behind the scenes into the Luka suite. Check that out. KG, one of the 22, along with Mrs. KG, I believe.
That's right.
Was at the game with you. You got to meet Luka. You got to sit in a suite to watch Mavs v Lakers. So first off, just how did you get into the suite? Take us behind the scenes.
Yeah, so about 8 days ago, got a message from the Luka Dončić Foundation on behalf of Luka and his manager, Laura Beth Seeger. And at first, I saw the message pop up in my DM, and I immediately deleted it because I thought, okay, back up. So a lot of folks been getting their accounts hacked, obviously.
Yeah, Luka's asking you to vote for him in a survey.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can't get my stuff hacked. So I immediately delete the message, and then I get a call that says, hey, they're going to send you that message again. And this time you need to respond to it because it is real. And it was someone who I obviously trusted who knows them. And I was like, okay, all right. So I'll respond. So they resend the message. And turns out, yes, it was 100% real. And they invited several folks to come and watch the game, and a couple of days or a day or so later got a couple of tickets. They were able to allow the invited folks at +1, so naturally I took my wife to the game, and yeah, it was an incredible time. And yes, as you mentioned, it was an adventure because we definitely drove through the ice and snow to get to the arena. Normally it takes about 30 minutes for me to get from my house to the arena when traffic's clear. This time it took about 50 minutes to get through the snow and ice. We took it slow because folks are maniacs out here. But it was fantastic, man. Like from start to finish, it was incredible, and I can't say enough about what he and his team did, for us. I mean, the idea behind it was, those who had showed support for him, through the wake of the trade. And my man's clearly online because he apparently saw a lot of these things that I and others had to say about him in the wake of the trade, and he was apparently moved by it. So
well, let's be honest, you post a lot, so there has been a lot of chances for him to see.
Touche.
But
Touche.
I mean, it's a pretty important, it's a touchstone moment in Mavs fandom history and in Mavs franchise history. It hasn't been a year yet. We're coming up on the 1 year anniversary. Got something special for that. Stay tuned. But I can't imagine many other. I mean, well, you tell me. Under any other circumstances, would you have made the drive to and from American Airlines Center in that weather?
No, not at all. No, not at all. I mean, for him to take the time, him and his team to take the time out to do that, it was worth going there and just being as careful as you could to get there. So no, under any other circumstances, no. With all due respect to the Mavericks and the Lakers that night, no, we wouldn't have made that trip for sure.
Now, before you got airtime, so ESPN's Tim McMahon gave a sideline report talking about it, and you got an extreme close-up. It was just KG on my TV screen. It was incredible. But before that, and before the game, I believe, you and everybody got to go down there and meet Luka. Was that before the game or was that after the game? And what was that experience like?
Yeah, so this was before the game. This was prior to his warm-ups before the game. And yeah, we had gotten to, where the Lakers locker room, or excuse me, their tunnel was. And we sat down there for a few minutes. And then he and his team took us back to the, to the back area. He came out, greeted us all, signed whatever folks had brought for him to sign, and we had a chance to each take a picture with him just to say hello and that kind of thing. And he was extremely gracious with his time. I mean, he signed everything that everyone put in front of him. I took a picture with everyone who was there with him to be there for the event, and you could tell he was just very appreciative. He said a couple words, just really appreciate what you guys said throughout the time that I was, throughout the transition and trade, everything. And he was grateful for it. So yeah, it's kind of surreal. I mean, superstars don't do this type of thing. I mean, once a player leaves, there is some connection still with the city, but in a personal way like this, I've never really seen anything like this from a superstar. So, but yeah, this all took place prior to the game in his warm up, and he went out there and did his thing after warm up as they took us up to get ready for the game, afterwards. So
yeah, like you said, I mean, there's a personal connection to the city, but unfortunately, the reality of the post trade kind of apocalyptic week it was full of that became personal. Like there were personal things said about him by the general manager of the team at the time. I mean, this is not an ordinary act, but that was not an ordinary transaction, Now, some of the other people in that suite included Kirk Serious Face and Young Serious Face. There were also other Mavs fans that have either, prominent fan accounts or just themselves have, pretty big accounts online, always posting about the Mavs. So, I mean, I think it's really important to distinguish here. Everybody in that suite was and is still a Mavs fan. Like these people are Mavs fans some Mavs personalities and stuff. I don't know if you want to identify as a fan or whatever. That's up to you. But these are people that are still in the Mavs world. So what was the rooting interest breakdown in the suite? Like whenever the Lakers were up 15, were you all stomping and clapping, or when the Mavs made a run? Like what was because that was kind of a wild game. What were the vibes like in the suite?
Yeah, it was Luka do good, but the Mavericks win. In some respects. I mean, there's obviously a lot of personal fandom toward Luka and investment in him and wanting to do well, regardless at the Mavericks' expense or not. But me personally, I found myself as the game went on, it was a 27-point turnaround, and the Mavericks found themselves by double digits. And I was like, hey, I mean, if you're going to do it, just go ahead and do it then. You made this comeback against the Lakers. Obviously, Luka is playing well, but at the same time, I mean, go ahead and win the game. But we obviously know how things, turned out. But yeah, I would say there was a few that were, very pro Luka, regardless of the outcome. There were others that were just excited to see the two teams go at it and Luka playing well. But for me, I mean, I can't turn the brain off. I was like, well, once the game gets started, I mean, let's see what happens. So I did find myself cheering for Luka in certain moments, obviously, because I mean, he's just an incredible talented player. But also at the same time, I was like, well, damn it, go win the game then. And the Mavericks came close.
So when the Mavs were up 5 with 3 minutes to go, and PJ fouled Rui on a 3-pointer.
Oh my gosh,
Kevin Gray was very upset in the suite.
Lost my mind. I was like, damn it, PJ. Like, I'm the resident president of the PJ Washington fan club, and right now it's not happening for my guy. And yeah, that foul on Rui was just not.
You are the Resi Prezi of PJFC, and it was I did think it was a pretty cruel, ironic moment that Luka essentially closed out the game with a defensive play by drawing a charge. I thought that was pretty interesting.
They already wasn't lost on him either.
What was it like in the building? I imagine the suite was a microcosm of the building, right? Was it?
Sure.
Did you kind of feel like everyone was sort of on the same page about Luka do good, but the Mavs win? Or were there a lot of just, hey, screw the Mavs, I'm a Lakers fan in the building?
I mean, a bunch of Lakers fans in the building. I mean, every time he scored a bucket or did something, I mean, it was an audible roar that you heard in the building. But for a while there, I didn't know how many fans were actually going to get to the game, because maybe 10, 15 minutes before game time, I mean, it was still half full, if that. By the time we got to game time, it was pretty much, a sold out building. So
looked folks pretty packed on TV, at least.
Yeah, it was. Like by the time we got to the middle of the first quarter, it was pretty much a normal, crowd for a game, nearly sold out crowd for a game. So credit to the fans for making their way through the weather and getting out there. So, wanted the Mavs to do well, obviously. But every time Luka scored, it was pretty much 95% of the building cheering, because, I mean, I will say my favorite moment. So the suite that we were in, there was our suite, and then the suite over was empty. I'll get to the Meg Thee Stallion story in a minute. But the other suite over was Cooper Flagg's family, and shout out to Mama Kelly Flagg, because she lived and died on every shot, every play, every moment of her boy out there on the floor. And I think at one point she did get some TV time.
She did. She was dancing.
Yes, yeah. So, but you could hear her very clearly cheering or being upset or whatever the case may be at everything that was happening on the floor. And I appreciated that, because as a parent, I mean, you want your child to do good. And every time he did something or didn't do something, like he missed a 3, and you could just hear her scream, "Make the shot!" I'm just like, Mama Flagg into it, man. So shout out to her, because she was my highlight of the night, because she was very into the game. Let's just say that.
It's
she was very
game 45, and she's just still
locked in. Like she had a laptop. I don't know if she was taking notes. I'm assuming she was taking notes of the game. Like she had a laptop, and I'm telling you, like after maybe a timeout or something, she was like, typing on her laptop. Like she was into it, man. So if Mama Flagg sees this,
she's making notes for film later.
I wouldn't put it past her. Like, dude, she was very intense. Yeah. Respect. So shout out to her, man. Love that.
Respect. All right. You said you had a Meg Thee Stallion story, so let's get to that. And before we get out of here.
So this was maybe midway through the second quarter, and I just happened to turn to my left, and I see Meg Thee Stallion out of the corner of my eye, and my wife is sitting next to me, and I literally tap her on the shoulder. I was like, "Hey, look, turn to your left." Now, my wife doesn't know her left from her right, so she immediately turned to her right. I was like, no, turn to your left. She's going to laugh when I say that. She admits it. I was like, no, turn to your left. And she looked, and she was like, is that? I was like, yes, it's Megan Thee Stallion. And she immediately lost her mind. So after a few minutes, she came back down. So funny part is she initially saw her. Megan leaves the suite apparently to go do something. My wife like literally jumps over the top of me to try to go catch her. She doesn't catch her, but then she eventually comes back to her suite, and she winds up taking a couple of pictures with her, and she was able to interact with her, and she was real sweet about it too. Like shout out to Megan Thee Stallion. Like she was really sweet about it, super down to earth, very humble, and was willing to oblige to take pictures and say hello. My wife eventually FaceTimed like 3 of her cousins and got Megan Thee Stallion to like FaceTime with her cousins during the game. So yeah, she was really sweet about it. So that made my night personally for me. My wife deserved this moment as much as anyone for supporting me throughout all of this, and for her to be able to have that moment was pretty cool. She couldn't breathe for like half an hour afterwards after meeting Megan Thee Stallion. So yeah, that was pretty fun. So for sure.
Well, shout out Meg for braving the conditions too.
That's what I said. I had no idea she was going to be at the game. I mean, no one did. And there she goes, shows up in the middle of the suite, and she's out there, supporting her man Clay.
Heck yeah.
So shout out to Megan Thee Stallion, man.
Heck yeah.
She made it through the weather. So
heck yeah. Quick story. Whenever I was very young, so I was probably like 5 or 6 or 7, maybe. I mean, that's on the high end. And I was in my Power Rangers is the best thing that's ever happened stage of my life. And this is back when the Mavs sucked. I was at Reunion Arena with my family, and a couple rows behind us was the woman who played the yellow Power Ranger at the time. And my sister is a couple years older than me, and maybe by then she wasn't even a Power Rangers fan anymore. I don't know, because it's a pretty young kid thing. But she turned around and waved, and the woman was waving back. And my dad was like wave to her. She's one of your heroes. Like, wait. And I was so nervous that I didn't even look. I buried my head. I was so nervous. And I ended up not saying hi to the yellow Power Ranger. So I'm glad that your wife was able to overcome that starstruckness and make a memory.
Just enough to be able to take a picture, have a video with her. But I mean, I'll say this as we end, like, again, shout out to him and his team. They were absolutely incredible. I mean, the suite was awesome. They had food and drinks. They wound up giving us, which I will not wear, for those who are wondering, I will not wear the Luka jersey or the Luka Laker hoodie that was provided.
You got to burn them. You got to burn them. If real, you're burning them.
I mean,
light them on fire on camera.
I mean, I'll probably just wait till my daughter gets older and she could wear them or at some point down the road. But he did provide everyone Luka 5s, which I may or may not wear at some point down the road for sure. So yeah, his team was unbelievable. Laura Beth Seeger was incredible, and just really grateful to have that opportunity and to be able to partake in that. So I appreciate everyone who had kind words and things to say to me and my wife online or in person from that night. And it's a night that honestly I'll never forget, because like you said, I mean, this is not normal for a superstar to do, and not even a year out from when all of this took place. So just very, very, very grateful for the night and the opportunity, because did not think something like this would ever happen for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you were able to make it, man. I'm glad you and everyone else in that suite was able to do it. Glad that Luka was able to, and his team were able to make that happen. I'm sure it was a special night for some special people celebrating a special dude after a not so special moment. But if the people sitting behind the basket with the signs end up making a good point, maybe we'll all be able to look back on this in approximately 2.5 years and just have a good laugh. Who knows? But until then, we're going to keep bringing you daily Mavs coverage right here. So if you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel if you could. We'd really appreciate it. We're closing in on 40,000 subs here at DLLS Sports, and we will be back with you tomorrow, Tuesday. When is our next show? Tuesday. That's right.
Live show Tuesday. That's
noon
right.
Central. Will we be remote? Will we be in studio? I have no idea. We got to see if the ice melts. So if you're going to go out and travel, be safe, stay warm. Don't take any silly chances unless Luke is in town. And we will see you later. For Kevin, for Tanner producing, I am Bobby. Y'all be easy.